Today, October 24th, 2019, is our 3-year nomad anniversary. So today we're going to look back on what we've done and where we've been. Stay tuned. Big Daddy's first job was in southern Maryland in Leonardtown. It was a really cool place to stay and visit. Very historical. There was a lot of history there, a lot of museums to go to, and that's where I learned about the passport book for the national parks, where you get stamps at all the parks you go to that are in the book, and it's a way to learn about American history, which I did not know coming from England. They didn't teach it over there. And so I really enjoyed this area. Lots of beaches, it was on the water, and it reminded us very much of being in South Carolina. The food, oh, fantastic. We went out for crab legs a lot. Of course, when the holidays come, we go back down to South Carolina to spend them with our family. I couldn't find any pictures of Thanksgiving, but this was Christmas, our first year on the road. We still had the house at that point, so that's where we had our holiday with the kids and grandkids. And we had a fantastic time, as always. Lots and lots of laughs. My sister came to visit, and we decided to take a trip down south. She needed to get some work done on her Airstream, and we knew a guy near our house down there. So we went. We stayed at south of the border in the Airstream, which was a ton of fun. We really enjoyed that. We had lots of giggles. We got back to South Carolina. We worked on the Airstream. We had Easter with the kids. We did egg painting and, of course, an Easter egg hunt. So I really enjoyed having them. Love spending time with the grandkids and the kids. When I got back up to Maryland, Big Daddy and I decided to do some traveling around and visit some places. We went to Mount Vernon. We went to, oh my goodness, the Capitol. We were in George Washington's birthplace. I can't remember. We went to so many places. Arlington Cemetery. A lot of fun. And then we also visited a lot of places around southern Maryland. I've got some pictures of those coming up. I'll try to tell you what's what. This was a great day. I learned so much. Okay, on this day we went to a winery and explored some beaches. This was Solomon's Island, which was on Big Daddy's way to work. Very, very cool island. Very small, but lots to do. This was a boatyard, I believe. And then this was a day we spent in Annapolis, Maryland. We met my brother up there for lunch. And then the snow came. It was a mild winter, and then in July, Big Daddy had to have surgery. He wasn't able to work for about a month, so we took a 5-state road trip and traveled, and then headed back to South Carolina to move our camper from the coast inland because of a hurricane, and we cleared out the house. Now we're moving into year 2. This was our Thanksgiving get-together in South Carolina. with family there. That was absolutely fun. We had games, and I got one of those tents. It was pleasant weather, so we ate outside. Certainly wasn't enough room in the camper. Big Daddy had surgery on his knees, and the dogs had dental surgery, all within like a day or two. And then Christmas came. We were still in South Carolina. Big Daddy was recovering and had everybody over, and that was a lot of fun too. Again, we used the same tent, and that was Christmas of 2017. Big Daddy was still seeing the doctor, so we stayed in South Carolina for January and spent lots of time with the grandkids and kids. So we went over to Beaufort on this day to a sea museum, taught all about the sea life, and it was a lot of fun. And we also went out to dinner and lunch a lot. In February, Big Daddy got called to a job in Georgia, which wasn't too far from the kids, so we still got to see them. And we only were there for 1 month, and then we got a call to go to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and away we went. It was snowing the day we arrived, and getting up, that was tough. We got a 4-wheel drive very soon after moving up there, and we wrapped the camper. The camper did great. It was pleasantly warm inside, and we carried on. Once the snow broke, we got out and about. We looked at train museums. We traveled. My biggest thing was the show The Office was filmed out of Scranton, so I was going to all the places that were in The Office to check them out. And here's one, Alfredo's Pizza Cafe. I went with a friend of mine, Lee, and then that was really a lot of fun. That was my first one. And then Big Daddy took me to the Poor Richard's Pub, which was actually in a bowling alley, which is not what it showed on the show, but besides the point, we went there. The dogs were comfortable. We had a treehouse window that looked over the snow. It was lovely. They call Scranton the Electric City, and it really is a lot of fun. There's a lot of places there to go visit. It's a mix between downtown and farmland. As you can see, here's a beautiful red barn. And then when spring broke, we moved our camper down to a different site to give us a bigger yard, and we really enjoyed that yard. It was very, very big. And my sister came back with her camper at one point while we were staying there to do some work. We had a great time. We also went on a hike and found some waterfalls. And then one day we went out to dinner in a different town. I don't remember the name of it, but this had a lot of history in it, and we enjoyed that as well. July of 2018, the job ended, so we decided to go around to a few different places. Our first stop, Saratoga Springs, to spend 4th of July with my sister at her campground there. We had a great time, and then moved to Lake Ontario and stayed at a campsite. I think it was Webster State Park, right on the water. It was wonderful, peaceful, quiet, and not too far from Niagara Falls. So we took a day trip to go visit Niagara Falls, which was certainly on our bucket list. It was not a letdown. We had a fantastic time. And here's our picture from Niagara. We made a few more stops and then went back to South Carolina, and that was end of year 2. So on October 2018, we purchased a second camper, and we bought it in Ohio and then traveled to Pennsylvania to get it set up for Big Daddy's new job. When we got there, we started exploring the area. We were very close to the Flight 93 Memorial. That was our first destination. Sombering, but would not have missed visiting. Beautiful waterfalls in the area. And I was moving along, getting stamps in my passport, left, right, and center. They had so many national parks close to where we were staying. It was fantastic. Here we go with the Flood Museum. Watched a movie about the history, which was very educational. Beautiful area. We stayed in a campground that had 3 winter spots, and between the 3 campers was 210 acres. So we walked the dogs a lot. Big Daddy got ready for the snow, and the snow came. One of the best things about this campground is, and one other neighbor, was my sister. She came and stayed at the same campground and taught skiing for that winter. So we got to spend a lot of time together. We took a cake class. We walked the dogs. Even in the snow and frigid temperatures, we fought through. China, she wasn't too happy about it all, but she did get better as time went on. There's Stacy and her babies. We went home for Thanksgiving, as we always do. My sister was working, so she wasn't able to come home for Thanksgiving or Christmas. But we got back to Pennsylvania, celebrated Christmas up there with her. We made cakes for the office staff. This was my sister's with an Airstream on top, and her 2 dogs and a cat. And there's my camper on my cake with my 2 little chihuahuas. The office staff loved them, really enjoyed those. We both decorated our campers, as my sister's on the right, mine on the left. We went out, had lunch together, it might have been dinner, at the castle. We loved the castle. There it is. It's always fun to go there. And then Big Daddy and I headed south for Christmas with the family. Again, wonderful to see everybody. I think we stayed for a week. And this is our other camper. We left that one down there. We did not get rid of that when we purchased the new one. That way we could go home and stay in it while we were there and not drag the new camper down there, being that it had been skirted for the winter. And of course there was no snow down there in South Carolina. Very pleasant with the sun out. That was a nice change. And we got back to Pennsylvania, rang in the new year. This is 2019 now. I helped my sister redo her camper. Big renovation there. She loved it. And then we took a couple trips. First one to West Virginia. She had to photograph some college graduations there. We had a great time. Beautiful, beautiful country. We went on a hike through some rocks. That was pretty amazing. Yes, down that hall we went. We also went to New York, the Catskills. She was photographing a wedding in Big Indian. We stayed on a lake. Not a lake, I'm sorry, on a river. It was beautiful. Here's a picture of the Airstream on it. I felt like when I looked out the window, I was in a boat. And we did a lot of walking in the 210 acres after the snow disappeared. Then it was time for my sister to move on to Saratoga, New York. Big Daddy and I moved our camper up to the summer spot. But then we got a call to go to Ohio. So we grabbed camper, off we went. Here we are in Ohio, and we celebrated the 4th of July. This campground had a big celebration. They did their own fireworks. They had their own fire. There was a golf cart decorating competition. It was a lot of fun. It's a beautiful campground. I enjoy walking around the lake. And down the road is the Van Buren State Park, which is also beautiful. They have disc golf down there and a lovely lake just to sit on, picnic area if you want to have a picnic, restrooms. It is beautiful. Then we started exploring. We headed north. We wanted to see Michigan. We went to a restaurant right on the water, and it was Big Daddy's first time trying walleye. He liked it. I tasted it. It did taste good. And then I had a drink called a Screamin' Tiki. That was delicious too. The next state we decided to go visit was Indiana, and off we went. We went to a town called Fort Wayne. Here it is on a wall. They had a lot of murals up and down. Big Daddy found his favorite, which was a skull. There was a lot of talent there. We visited a replica of a fort from the 1800s. And you were able to go in and look around, so that was nice. And then had lunch at Don Hall's Old Gas House restaurant. This had lots of great reviews. We also spent a lot of time with some great friends. We celebrated Big Daddy's birthday. And then after the campground started closing down for the year, we moved to our winter spot on the lake. We'll be heading out of here soon to go back to South Carolina, spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with the family, and we're looking forward to that not long now. So these are the states we have been able to visit in the last 3 years. We're still enjoying the adventure, and we plan on filling up this map. We thank you for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed the look back on the last 3 years of our travels, and we'll be back soon with more videos. Love y'all. Bye-bye.